This organization, everybody in this room has heard of. They've influenced the nation in so many ways, from audio CDs to best-selling author books. That's your first hint. Anybody want to take a guess? That probably tells it right there. Currently, they are evangelizing through many initiatives, such as events themed Find Your Greatness, Passion and Purpose for Marriage, and Living Every Day with Passion and Purpose. Even more special, this is the second year in a row where a Cincinnati-based individual or company has received this prestigious honor. Cincinnati, let's be honest, has truly produced some warriors for Christ. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me and Joe in congratulating our 2019 Evangelization Person of the Year, Matthew Kelly, and Dynamic Catholic. Now, obviously, Matthew Kelly, busy schedule, is not able to join us today. So here on his behalf and Dynamic Catholic's behalf, Mr. Jack Beers is the Dynamic Parish co-leader from Dynamic Catholic. Thank you for joining us. Round of applause for Dynamic Catholic and Matthew Kelly.
How are y'all doing? Good, good. My name is Jack Beers, and I didn't grow up Catholic. My dad is Jewish, and my mom is non-denominational Christian, so obviously I became Catholic. Makes sense. And I was along in my journey. I was about 19 years old, and I was going to Mass around Christmas time. It was just after Christmas, and I'm leaving Mass. And I used to try to stay late in Mass so I didn't have to talk to anyone. I didn't want anyone to say anything to me. So I'm leaving Mass a little bit later, and I just see this person next to the doors. And he's got this book in his hand. And I'm trying to keep my eyes down at the ground. And he's like, hey, Merry Christmas. I got something for you. Now I have to talk to him. The quickest way for me to get out of the conversation was to take the book. So I take the book home. I was in college at the time. I put the book on my nightstand. A couple of weeks passed. For some reason, one night, I couldn't go to sleep. It was like 3 in the morning, and I said, you know what would make me go to sleep? A Catholic book. That would make me go to sleep. So I roll over and I see this book, and what's the book? It's Rediscover Catholicism by Matthew Kelly. And I open up the book, and I spend the next 2 hours enthralled in this book. It inspired me to read the Gospels every day for a year, and I would not have entered the church on April 7, 2012, and received baptism, First Communion, and confirmation without that book. Couple of years, thank you. A couple of years after that, I was sitting in the offices of Dynamic Catholic in Erlanger, and I'm a Jersey boy. I grew up in Jersey, loved Jersey, and my whole life was spent there, and somehow I'm sitting in Erlanger, Kentucky, and I couldn't believe it. And I'm sitting in this room, and I'm being offered a job to come work at Dynamic Catholic. And Matthew Kelly says, Jack, I want you to come work with me at Dynamic Catholic. I want you to come work with me at Dynamic Catholic, and 30 years from now, you'll be sitting on the back porch talking about how you played an instrumental role in re-energizing the Catholic Church in America. I ultimately said yes to that offer because I believed in the mission of Dynamic Catholic, which is to re-energize the Catholic Church in America through the development of world-class resources that inspire people like you and me to fall in love with the genius of Catholicism. I believed that he could lead the way, and I believed in the mission of Dynamic Catholic, and I said yes. And it is one of the best decisions I've ever made. Over the course of 4.5 years of working at Dynamic Catholic, I've had the pleasure of working on the First Communion, First Reconciliation program, Blessed. And we're in the process of releasing 10 Catholic moments, 10 programs on 10 quintessentially Catholic moments. We've already released Confirmation, First Communion, just released Marriage Prep, and this upcoming year we'll release a program called Starting Point on birth and baptism. We'll continue to release those programs and make them available to Catholics just like you for free. Now, what I'm working on is Dynamic Catholic's latest initiative. It's something called Dynamic Parish. We're partnering with 21 parishes from across the country to seek and discover what it truly means to be a dynamic parish, because we all want to belong to a dynamic parish. I have that pleasure of doing that. So if you want to learn any more about Dynamic Catholic, if you want to learn more about Dynamic Parish, please just go to dynamiccatholic.com. I see you've got a Dynamic Catholic book on your way in, and the website's on the back. Now, obviously, I'm not Matthew Kelly, but Matthew, he sent me a little message here that he wanted me to share with all of you. And so I'm just going to take a moment and share that with you, if it'll load. And it won't. It's a good thing I read it 5 times. Matthew said that he and his wife Maggie have had a pleasure of living and working and serving in the Archdiocese of Cincinnati. They have been raising their 5 children here in the Archdiocese of Cincinnati, and it's been a pleasure to serve and work alongside wonderful men and women in this church for over the last 20 years. Matthew and the mission of Dynamic Catholic have done a lot of good in Cincinnati, but Matthew wanted to take the moment to recognize the fact that he could not do it alone and could not do it without the help and the support and the prayers of this wonderful, wonderful archdiocese. As a gift and as a thank you and as an extension of his love for all of you in the archdiocese, Matthew has provided the book, The Biggest Lie in the History of Christianity, to this conference for free. So if you didn't get a copy of that book, please make sure you do so on the way out. Matthew invited me to just encourage you to open that book and let it inspire you to fall in love again with the genius of Catholicism, and inspire you to live every day with passion and purpose. So on behalf of Matthew Kelly and all of Dynamic Catholic, thank you for this incredible award, and we look forward to working alongside each and every one of you to re-energize the Catholic Church in America. Thank you.